Unmasking manipulation. We did the first part of the webinar last night. And what's really, really amazing in the system, first of all, of course, how much resistance there is to come into this space, because in a system where there's manipulation, the last place you want to be is where the truth is. Because if you face the truth, you need to face your shadow, you need to face your pain, you need to face the people pleaser. I'm a good boy, dad. I'm a good boy, mom. I'm a good girl, mom. I'm a good girl, dad in the system. Or father thinking I'm a good father, but I don't want to face my shadow, my secrets. So this is so ingrained in the family system alone, where there's, the black sheep of the family who's always projected as the one with all the shadow and lived one's life, whereas the black sheep is the one who everything's thrown to, which the rest cannot face. And they would need to face everything to accept that child in the system. So the level of manipulation in the system is incredible when you go into the genetics, the family genetic system. Then you work through the epigenetics, and then you work through the establishment programming, which we're going to be doing later more, where we're indoctrinated by, for example, I know when I was growing up, the priest's word was gospel, the doctor's word was gospel. How dare you even question the doctor? How dare you question the priest? So to see how much conditioning and programming is in the system. And then you got the modern version where you feel like, oh, I'm going into truth seeker and I'm going into freedom, ultimate freedom, liberal, and accepting the opposite, but you actually are going from one to the next. You're just changing one level of control to the next level of control. So the level of manipulation, control in the system is immense. And in this webinar, that's why it's 4 hours. It's really to sit with all the different levels of manipulation, where there's self-manipulation, where I don't want to face my own truth. I don't want to face my own sabotage, my own self-hatred, self-loathing. Is it really mine? Is it belong to somebody else in the system? So what I'm working with is really stepping out of everybody else's minds, conditioning, and then addressing what's in my own system and changing it. And then also then comes up your virtues. Then there's so much conditioning in the system about, beauty, for example, what type of woman I should be attracted to, man I should be attracted to, what is the version of beauty in the system? What is the version of a good boy, a good person, in the system? What is the version of love? There's so much Hollywood love in the system. Is it really love? Freedom, so many programming around freedom, from the movie business, Hollywood, Holly stick, it's magic. So there's so much conditioning and manipulation in the entire system. It's hard to know who am I. And this webinar is designed in a way that, I'm not your father, I'm not your mother, I'm not your guru. I'm simply holding space for you to see what's in your own system, and then to bring up what's in your subconscious programming, and then to find it yourself, to remember yourself. It's not about me, it's not about you. It's about really what is your essence, and then to unravel the conditioning and the manipulation in the system. And these are very deep levels and deep layers which are programmed in us. And this is what I really am holding space for, that you can unravel and find yourself, find your essence, and enjoy being alive, and step out of the guilt tripping, step out of the people pleasing, step out of the level of control and manipulation that, I'm afraid to step out of the box. I'm afraid to speak the truth because I will be, thrown out, or I will be ghosted in the system. So the level of conditioning that's in the field at the moment is immense, but it's always been there through the ages when you look back. And then it's inner epigenetics. So it's really to unravel, untangle from these webs of illusions, webs of what is a good person And then also, really, the work I'm doing always is about who has the real virtues, where is the real virtues. And for that, I really have to go back in time to find those archetypes so I can bring them up in the system. So it's not the influencers, it's not the politicians. There's so many systems which we need to unravel from. And the Freemason is really in the system and the levels of Freemason design of how war is worked, how the medical system has worked, how the banking system's worked, how the health system works, how the food poisoning system works. So there's all these levels of conditioning which we have to break through in the system. So what is your truth and who are you? There's really, it's an interesting question of what is real, what is an illusion, what is people pleasing, what is codependency, what is fear of finding one's truth, what is fear of stepping into one's power, fear of self-love, then the parts of us that are afraid of going into deep love, deep committed relationships, and then what is the story we're telling ourselves why we're not in resonance with ourselves on a soul level. So this is a really deep field, and you may feel an awful lot of resistance by entering this webinar space. It's interesting, the numbers are really down on this one, and this I'm not surprised I felt it coming in because it makes sense. There's so much resistance, which is subconsciousness of breaking free of the conditioning. That is the trap, you know, to break free of the cages, the golden cages, the the illusions of freedom, and then what is true values, true freedom. So there's so much conditioning in the system at the moment on so many levels and so much programming around, you know, global warming and so many programs around the health system, around the banking system, around, you know, borders, new laws coming into effect. So there's so much in the system which is a lie, and people with good heart, good intention are being hijacked. So where are you being hijacked from your goodness, your values, and then what part of you is not ready to face what is in the truth and what's staring you in the face? So this is the level of conditioning we're working through and the programming which we're going through because the system's designed not to face the truth, not to face the scary, not to face the darkness, and to fantasize or to escape and dissociate. So this is going to bring you into the truth and it will unravel. And when you're on the other side of it, it's beautiful. It's good to know what's staring in your face, what was in your system, what have you changed? Because when you bring up the subconsciousness, you have a choice as a creator to change the entire system. And it's very empowering. It's very empowering to look at your shadow. It's very empowering to face the truth. And it's step out of the illusions, step out of the lies, step out of the fears, step out of the fear of death, and realize you're an eternal being. You're much more than this physical body. I'm in the body at the moment. I can enjoy it and make the most of it and, really live life to the potential. So this is just a snippet of what's happening in this webinar space. And every webinar is in the academy on my website is different levels of consciousness, which I've been working my own system. They come in every month, different levels of consciousness related to the collective shadow, related to the topics which we need to address at the moment. And yeah, I'm not picking the topics. The topics have been always channeled to me and given to me. And it's related to whatever restraints, whatever chains are in our system and blockings from ourselves. So it's really about remembering who we are and being free to really connect to the essence level of who we are and to live it in a very healthy, balanced way. So this is what this webinar is about. And then all the other webinars are different levels of consciousness. And each time you watch the webinar, and that's why I was told years ago, record it for the simple reason that when there's a resistance in your system, first you don't hear it, but then you listen again, it goes into the system, it goes deeper, and will open up more in the system. So each time you watch each of these webinars, they get stronger and you go deeper into your system. They're all different levels of consciousness, teachings, and remembrance. And this is what's been channeled through me over the years. And feel very blessed and fortunate that I could open these up for everybody to be part of. So enjoy the journey. And as I say, beware on this one because it's manipulation, that there may be a lot of resistance from entering the system and entering the webinar exactly because you're going to break free and be in part. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. And thank you for being on this journey with me.